What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I put a brand new video. We only have 2 more Sundays until the NFL draft. Today and next week. It's coming up very soon, so I want to get as much draft content out there as possible so you guys know my thoughts and opinions on all of these players that the Ravens could potentially be drafting. In this video today, I'm going to be talking about Zay Flowers. So let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts, not just on Zay Flowers, but if the Ravens should draft him. If you don't think the Ravens should, who should draft him? Where do you think he should fall? All those types of things. I want to hear what you guys think because, nobody is 100% right about every single prospect. It's impossible. Well, maybe not impossible, but it's very, very unlikely. So here's my thoughts on Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is a decent wide receiver prospect. I think his size, coming into the combine, it was a concern. People were thinking he'd be about 5'10", weigh about 170, which is pretty light. But he ends up going into the combine, comes in at 5'9", a little bit shorter, but 182 pounds. So it's like, okay, he's actually a little bit stockier than people were initially expecting, which is good for a wide receiver his size and the way that he plays because he's a yak guy. He's somebody that you want to get the ball in the hands of as quickly as possible so that he can make those big time plays. And that was the entire, if you guys don't know, he went to Boston College. That was the entire offense of Boston College, it was get Zay Flowers the football quickly. So there were a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of quick screens, quick slants, and quick plays to really get him the action. And, while that was the way that he was used, I don't necessarily think that's the best way of utilizing him. Now, use him that way, yes. But don't only use him like that. I think he can be a solid route running wide receiver in the NFL. If he's able to develop that aspect of the game. He just wasn't asked to really do it, like be a crazy savvy route runner or anything like that. I'm not saying he's coming out with the route running skills of Jerry Jeudy when he came out. But I think he's coming out and he's got really good shiftiness and athleticism. If you guys want to know his combine metrics, he ran 4.42. 35-inch vertical, 10 feet, 7-inch broad jump. And, again, good athlete. And I assume a lot of people have seen the clip of his agent talking about him and comparing him to Antonio Brown. But Antonio Brown with good morals or whatever it was, he was like, you're not going to have to worry about off the field issues and you're getting Antonio Brown on the field. That's ridiculous. He's not Antonio Brown, but I think he's a good wide receiver. With that in mind, I don't love him in Baltimore. Again, I think he could end up being wide receiver 1 in this class. But for me personally, I have him at wide receiver 4. Again, I think everybody above him is very different. I think whether you're looking at Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers, and even if you want to go to my wide receiver 5, Josh Dobbs, I don't think any of them play similar to each other. They're all very different. So if you're looking for a yak guy, a shifty yak guy, it's Zay Flowers. And that's going to be the first wide receiver off the board if you're doing that. You go back to, I think this is a very similar draft, not in terms of talent, but in terms of philosophy of how the draft went, where Justin Jefferson was drafted in the first round, right? Because the consensus top 3 wide receivers were Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and CeeDee Lamb. I think this is very similar to that in the fact that all the top guys are very unique in their play styles compared to each other. So in the end, it ended up going with Henry Ruggs going first, and then Jerry Jeudy, and then CeeDee Lamb. And Henry Ruggs, obviously, the speed threat. Jerry Jeudy, a technical route runner, one of the best route runners coming out of college ever. And then CeeDee Lamb, a great yak wide receiver. And then after that, it was like, okay, then what do you want? You want another deep threat in Jalen Reagor? Do you want a big body wide receiver in Justin Jefferson? Obviously, we now know Justin Jefferson became the best, but coming into the draft, it was those kind of 3 guys. And I think it's very similar here. Zay Flowers is that shifty, small, great yak kind of guy. Jordan Addison, I think, is, he's shifty, but he's more of a technical route runner. Jackson Smith-Njigba is a pure route runner that's able to go inside, outside, doesn't have the body concerns that Jordan Addison does because his concern is, staying healthy. But Jackson Smith-Njigba, again, route runner, technician, I think Jordan Addison is a little bit more of the deep threat. In addition to that, he can kind of go all three levels. I don't see that as much in JSN. Again, not saying any of them are better than each other, just saying they're different. Quentin Johnston is the project, big body, great yak, developmental wide receiver that could very easily be wide receiver, one in this class when it's all said and done, but just not from day one. And then if you want the slot wide receiver, you're going with Dobbs at a UNC. So I just want to get that out there. Me saying that I don't love him in Baltimore is not me saying I don't like him as a prospect. I think if any team wants a good yak wide receiver that can play well right away, Zay Flowers is the guy for them. And I would not be surprised if he goes wide receiver 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes wide receiver 4. But why I don't think I would love it in Baltimore is because, and the reason I'm talking about this, I don't know if I mentioned this, Zay Flowers is visiting Baltimore tomorrow. He's having his meeting with the Ravens. That's why the Zay Flowers video is coming out now. Hopefully I put that in the title and I don't forget because I forgot to mention that at the beginning of this video. But so why I don't love it in Baltimore is because the receivers that the Ravens already have. We have Rashad Bateman, who's a route runner. And then we have Odell Beckham Jr., route runner. Kind of undersized. Zay Flowers should just be more of the same. I think we need somebody, and Devin Duvernay again, smaller guy, very good after the catch. We don't need a fourth kind of undersized wide receiver to add into this group. I think what the Ravens need is either going to be a deep threat or what they're, and again, Hyatt's the 6th wide receiver in this draft class. He's the deep threat. So if you want to go even further, Hyatt could very easily go number 2 or 3 wide receiver in this draft if he goes to the right spot that needs a deep threat. They're all different. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. But overall, all of those players, Zay Flowers, I think, is maybe the worst fit for the Ravens because it's just kind of more of the same. I think Odell's very good after the catch, and I think Bateman is pretty good after the catch, and so is Devin Duvernay. And he's not adding size. He's not adding crazy speed. And I feel like he would be used similar to how Devin Duvernay was used, the last couple of years under Greg Roman. Is get the ball in his hands quickly, throw him on the jet sweeps, throw him in the bubble screens and all that type of stuff. I don't necessarily think that that's something that we need. And again, I'm not trying to dog on him. I think, there are some people, I think if the Giants drafted him, he could be really good. Right. And so I just think it's something that I don't like saying I don't want players because I think he could be really good. But in my opinion, I feel like the Ravens, if they want to go wide receiver, their best option that could be available at that spot, I don't think JSN's going to be available. I think it's Quentin Johnston more because if they develop him right, he'll be the guy. And we don't need a wide receiver from day one to step in. Could we use one? Yes. But we have Bateman and Odell who are going to be 1 and 2, and we have a good slot wide receiver or number 3 wide receiver in Devin Duvernay. I'm okay with that. And Quentin Johnston could be a developmental future number 1 wide receiver for the Ravens. That's my thoughts. Again, I'm not a believer. I don't think the Ravens should go wide receiver round 1. So me saying I think Quentin Johnston would be the best for the Ravens is not me saying I want Quentin Johnston. He needs to be the pick. It's if the Ravens decide to go wide receiver. I don't love Zay Flowers as the guy for them just because I feel like stylistically he doesn't fit in with the other wide receivers because it's more of the same. I think I want versatility. Todd Monken has talked about how he wants versatility. This offense would not be getting, a game-changing player that could change, scheme-changing. Maybe not game-changing. He is a game-changing player, but a scheme-changing player because it would be hard to get him on the field and get him the ball. We got a lot of players that we need to get the ball in the hands of. I feel like it wouldn't really be worth it. But I could be wrong. I know a lot of people are huge fans of Zay Flowers, so let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.